How have you been?
Pretty good. It's been a pretty intense summer. It looked pretty calm, before it was about to start, but somehow everything it's been it's been quite intense. We try to meet up with old friends and family and everything, but then you have a bunch of festivals and you're trying to plan everything out and you know, uh, f- do something with the family as well. Summer is a tough one, it's a puzzle
Mm.
for sure. But
Well,
it's been good. It's been a beautiful summer. I mean, I'm not complaining by any means. We just about a week ago we opened up for Kiss. It's like what else can you wish for? That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Well, you finished off late last year with soil work. You toured here. How did you pull up
Yeah,
after that? How did that go for you?
that was a great tour. One of the best ones we've done for sure. So that was great. And then it was Christmas, and then we did 2 months of touring in Europe with Soilwork. Pretty intense spring, and then in May the festival season started. So we've done a bunch of festivals with both bands, more with Night Flight Orchestra actually this year. But yeah, it's been pretty busy, I would say.
Yeah. Now
Mm.
you basically discussed like forming the band, in the back of a tour bus, as you told me once,
Yeah.
in what 2007. So here we are. We're 16 years later. There's six
Mm.
albums under the belt,
Mm.
and you're touring Australia. Did you couldn't have foreseen that, really?
No, no, definitely not. Not when we started the band, and it's ever since we, started releasing records and then started touring. It was always there at the back of my mind. It's like, man, it would be good to take this orchestra to Australia at some point. But I don't know. Could that happen? And here we are. It's unbelievable, really.
How did it happen? How long was this in the works? Did you try like on a previous album and it not work out, or is it just perfect alignment of the planets this time?
Well, I've been bugging Doug of Hardline Media a couple of times. Like, it's like poke him a little bit. It's like you should take the Night Flight Orchestra to Australia because a lot of people ask. When we do signing sessions and meet and greets in Australia, a lot of people, during the solar shows are asking like, "Oh, what's going on with Night Flight Orchestra? When are you coming over here? I love the band, and they bring the albums for me to sign, and so it's." So I've been poking him quite a bit, and during our tour with Soulwork in November, we talked about it, and then just a few months after that, he said like, "Well, maybe we should try to make it happen," and here we are. Yeah. So yeah, exciting.
Feel free to not answer.
Mm.
But David, I mean, you had to fill a hole in
Yeah,
soil work. You've had to fill a hole in night flight. How
yeah.
how hard was that, and how did you do it?
Well, since David was not really touring with any of the bands on the last tours that we did, because he was sick. He was
Mm,
very sick in the end, and was not doing well long before that, and it was really hard to witness, and you felt really
mm,
powerless, and
mm,
and then he was also a doctor, so he didn't live from the bands, and this is my profession, and some other people in the bands don't have other professions, and you
mm.
you you try to keep the ship sailing, and even though it was really hard, of course he was very missed, and then Rasmus jumped in on guitar for the Night Flight Orchestra, and he's done a absolutely terrific job, so he deserves all the credit in the world, and
Mm.
this was definitely something that David gave his blessing to as well, and because he really likes Rasmus, and um they had a great relationship. So I mean, we've still come to a point, David wrote quite a bit for especially the Night Flight Orchestra. He also wrote the latest quite a bit of material for the latest two Soilwork albums. So of course that's going to be some shoes to fill, But it's also a challenge, and I've learned a lot from David, as a songwriter as well. So that's definitely something that I take with me, and it's a challenge, and I like challenges, even though this is quite a sad challenge. He's supposed to still be here, he's supposed to be here still, and it's still hard to accept, So but we also talked before he passed away, and I said, like, I really want to keep this band going, and he said, like, of course you should, because it's something that we built up together. But of course now that piece is missing. But thankfully I have, people like Rasmus coming into the band, who's a social genius and an amazing friend and an amazing guitarist, bass player, because that's what he plays in Soilwork, and also an amazing composer. So I have a lot of faith in this still. And so I don't think we should underestimate the band as a whole, So
who else is in the band that you are bringing with us? Give us a bit of a run through who's going to be on stage with you.
Okay, yes, we have Jonas Kjellsbeck on drums, and then we have Åsa Lundman, we have Anna Brigord, the backup singers, the girls, and then we have on bass, because Charlie D'Angelo is out with Arch Enemy, unfortunately, but we knew that was going to happen sooner or later. Yeah, I know. So, but we have an amazing bass player called Mats Rydström on bass. Absolutely amazing. He's been playing with Avatarium and a lot of other bands. He's amazing bass player. You'll see. And then we have Johan Randén on guitar. Sorry?
I was familiar with that name when you said that. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. No, he's been in a lot of bands, like also Session. He's a sort of a studio musician as well. Fantastic bass player and a great human being. So yes, and then of course Rasmus as well.
Excellent. So what can we expect here in Australia on these shows? Because we haven't seen anything like this before. So what are we going to be?
It's going to be like the second coming of ABBA. No, but seriously, no, but I mean, I think we're bringing something different. We're bringing some different flavors here, and here in Europe, when we play, it's a very mixed crowd. It's everything from prog dads to hipsters to total metal heads with behemoth patches, and it's all over the place. And so it has a very unifying factor, I would say, this band, and it just a lot of people who normally wouldn't go to the same show. I think that makes it very interesting and very cool, and it's a really cool vibe, and it always ends with a lot of smiles and dancing and conga trains and this and that. So and if people like what they hear on our albums, I mean, these songs really come alive when we play live as well. It's on a whole different level, I would say. So it's people should really come out. It's going to be a really, really good time and a hell of a party.
What are you doing between now and when you come to Australia? Because it's coming up awfully quick.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be an insanely busy week. I'm going down south and to meet with some friends, a reunion, and then I'm coming home on Thursday. Friday we have rehearsal with Night Flight Orchestra. Saturday we play in Germany with the Night Flight Orchestra. Coming home Sunday, and then we play opening up for Megadeth with Soilwork on Monday here in Stockholm, and then we take me and Rasmus will take the night train from Stockholm down south to Copenhagen and take a flight to Australia. So that's the schedule for this week.
That's unreal, isn't it? Don't get those set lists. It is. Don't get those set lists mixed up.
No, I'll try not to.
Tell us about the shows with Kiss. That must have been huge.
Yeah, it was absolutely huge, and I will never forget it. I mean, the very last two shows in Sweden, we get to open with the Night Flight Orchestra. It's unbelievable. At this venue, I don't know if you've seen pictures. Dalhalla is the name. It's basically like a hole in the ground. It looks sort of like it would be the equivalent of Red Rocks in America,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but in Sweden, and it's unbelievable venue. You should look it up if you um, just Google it, and you'll see pictures. It's really cool. So we got to open Kiss very last two shows there at this venue, and I didn't know what to expect. It's like I was doubting we'll see them at all or meet them, but we got to meet them, and Gene Simmons came into our dressing room and talked to us, and he was dancing with one of the backup singers as well, and yeah, what a funny guy. He was. The hospitality was amazing, and then Paul Stanley even came up to us and asked like, "Hey, how was last night's show?" And crew was amazing. We got to sound check. We got all of these sort of LED screens with our logo. So I mean, the hospitality was absolutely amazing, and the crowd too. We didn't know what to expect, but I mean, the experience was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
And Kiss sounded amazing, really, really
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think being a small piece of that, like last Kiss experience in Sweden, and the way they sounded, and the way they ended on top, was I will never forget it.
Yeah,
So I'm
right.
extremely grateful.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
After Australia, what happens?
What happens after Australia? We have some solo work stuff to do. We're gonna do a show with Arch Enemy in Sweden. We're doing Summer Breeze, which is a big festival in Germany. And what else? We have a Swedish tour in the fall, but then it's starting to calm down a little bit, and I think it's gonna be needed because it's been a pretty intense year. So yeah. So around November, I will start having some time off. Yeah.
And then recording. What's happening with recording?
Well, we're
You got
working
anything
on a
lined
new,
up?
yeah, we're working on a new Night Flight album. We're gonna release some singles before it comes out. So I think the new Night Flight album will be out sometime in April, May next year. And we're also slowly getting into solo work writing mode as well. But first, it's gonna be the Night Flight Orchestra. And then we'll probably be in sync, because it's been quite hard after COVID to sync with both of the bands, because normally we
Yeah,
would
yeah.
have like separate the touring cycles and the album cycles, but now it's been everything at the same time. So I think we're gonna get that sync real soon.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that. With post-COVID, like here in Australia, during COVID we had all these tours lined up and postponed, postponed
Yeah,
again, blah blah
yeah,
blah, and so it
yeah,
goes on. And then COVID basically declared over. Thank for that. But then
mm,
all these tours that were like waiting in the wings, it's Australia's open. Fucking boom, everybody's down here.
yeah,
Tour after
yeah,
tour after tour. Now
yeah.
that sort of
It's
thing
been a
must
lot.
be
Yeah.
happening over there as well, especially with the logjam. All these bands trying to get in a few venues.
Yeah, absolutely. And I heard so many bands that have come out with a new album, and it's impossible to get any shows, especially festival shows, because the
Yeah,
bills are already packed because everything
yeah.
has been sort of postponed. And so it's really frustrating, really. And the traffic out there, it's insane. It's hard to sell tickets. It really is.
Mm.
And but hopefully next year things are gonna somewhat return to normal, I guess. But it's been really tiring, this whole COVID thing, and it's like, and as soon as you talk to people, oh, it's because of COVID. It's like, can we stop talking
Yeah.
about COVID, because it's been insane. But you could see that it's still affecting
Mm.
the live circus out there. So yeah.
I was talking to another band the other night, and they were talking about the difficulty of even getting a tour bus.
Yeah,
Of
there's that too. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. It's almost impossible.
yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, yeah. And all the everyone's raising their prices too. A tour
Mm,
bus today for a month, it's like it's insane.
yeah, far out.
So that's obviously the crisis too, the financial crisis. So it's not an easy times we're living in, and but what can we do? I mean, we can't stop.
Well, you can come down to Australia in the winter, which you're doing.
Yes, we can do
Well,
that.
it won't be so hot.
No, no. I mean, I've been looking up the weather forecast. It looks more like sort of like Swedish summer. It's
Oh, is that right? Okay.
yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes, but do you use Celsius?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, yeah. So I mean, here it's been, lately it's been, between 15 and 22. It's like
Okay. That's
so
a
it's not very
mild.
warm.
No, that's
Yeah,
mild for us. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Maybe we'll get some nice weather regardless, and I don't think it's gonna snow at least. So, but who knows?
No, not where you will be. That's if you
Uh,
don't go off the beaten track too far. Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, you should be safe from snow there. You will
yeah,
be safe from
yeah.
snow.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Do the traditional horns up in the camera for me if you don't mind, please. Thank you so much. Right.
Thank you for the support.
Hey, no problems, man. Thanks for
Mm,
having another chat to me. Anytime you want, hit me up. We'll do it all again. Best of luck
Beautiful.
with Night Flight Orchestra in a couple of
Mm,
weeks. Brisbane on the 3rd of August, Sydney on the 4th, Melbourne on the 5th. Have a great tour and we'll speak to
Thank
you
you so
again.
much. Absolutely. Take care, man.
Thanks,
Okay.
man. See ya.
Thanks. Okay, bye.